Welcome to The Explainer. We all see the AI hype, right? But let's ask a much tougher question. Why are most of these AI startups actually set up to fail? Thing is, it's not about the code or the algorithms. The real answer is hidden in the unglamorous, unyielding world of economics.
And let's be super clear about this from the get-go. This isn't about founders just needing to hustle more or have a better vision. Nope, we're talking about the cold, hard, structural laws of business that AI, for all its magic, simply doesn't get to ignore.
All right, let's dive in. We're going to unpack this thing by looking at 5 key areas, starting with the core economic blunders that people are making, and then we'll finish with the playbook that the real survivors are going to use. Okay, first things first, we have to completely reframe this whole conversation. It's time to stop talking about what's technologically possible and start focusing on what's economically viable. They are two very, very different things.
You know, this slide right here, this really nails the single biggest mistake people are making. The thinking goes, hey, with all these open source models and APIs, building a product is way easier, so success must be easier too. But the reality, it's the complete opposite. When it's easy for everyone to build something, it doesn't create a friendly market. It creates a brutal, overcrowded one, where your competition is insane and your profit margins just get crushed.
So, this very ease of building leads us directly into our next point, a really critical vulnerability we can call the accessibility trap. Just think of it like this. You're building your beautiful dream house, but you're building it on land that someone else owns.
A huge portion of the AI startups you see are basically what we call thin wrappers. All they're doing is taking a powerful model from, say, OpenAI or Anthropic, and then they slap a nice, pretty interface on top of it. And yeah, that gets you a product to market super fast, but that entire business model is built on a massive structural fault line. You see, when you're just a thin wrapper, you don't control your own destiny. Not at all. Your entire business is completely at the mercy of the big platform you're built on. They can change their API pricing tomorrow and just kill your margins overnight. Or they could decide to launch the exact same feature you offer, which basically makes your whole product pointless. You're living and dying by their roadmap, not your own. So the crucial takeaway here is really simple. A real business mode, that protective barrier around your business, it has to be something you own and you control. You absolutely cannot outsource your own defense to a platform that might just become your biggest competitor tomorrow.
And this dangerous dependency? It leads us right into the next major failure point, a deep and often fatal misunderstanding of what it actually costs to scale an AI business.
You know the classic startup playbook, right? It's the dream every founder's chasing. Growth solves everything. As you add more and more users, you spread out your fixed costs, and your business just becomes exponentially more profitable. It's a beautiful idea.
But for so many AI companies, that model is completely broken. Why? Because the cost to actually run the AI models for every single user, that's the compute cost, it's not fixed. It grows right alongside your usage. So as your revenue goes up, your single biggest expense goes up right there with it, completely wiping out the profits you thought you were going to get from scaling.
And this is just a brilliant way to put it. This is the concept of scaling fragility. It's this bizarre situation where adding more customers actually makes your financial position weaker, not stronger. So growth, the very thing that's supposed to save you, ends up just accelerating your cash burn and pushing you closer to the edge.
So with all these challenges, it's no wonder that startups are desperately searching for some kind of competitive moat. But here's the problem. The two most common moats you hear about in AI are usually just, they're illusions.
Everyone loves to say data is the new oil, right? But that's a really dangerous oversimplification. Data only becomes a real defensible moat if it checks these 4 boxes. It's got to be exclusive data that nobody else can get. It has to get better and better the more it's used, creating a compounding advantage. And maybe most important, it has to be so deeply woven into a user's daily workflow that leaving your product becomes a huge pain. So let's be really clear on this. Simply gathering a ton of user data, that's just accumulation. That's not an advantage. A real advantage is a structural barrier that stops a competitor from easily copying what you do. Most companies just have a big pile of data. They don't have a real defensible advantage.
And the second false moat is relying on having a slightly better algorithm or a model that gives you slightly better results. Look, in the world of AI, where state-of-the-art models are leapfrogging each other every few months, a performance edge is it's temporary. It's a fleeting moment in time, not a durable, long-term business strategy. Okay, so after tearing down all the ways that AI startups are basically set up to fail, what does a business that's actually built to last look like? What's the real playbook for survival?
The survivors, they're not going to be the ones with a slightly better algorithm.
They're going to be the ones who master these durable, almost classic business advantages. They control how they reach their customers. They become a totally indispensable part of a user's daily work. They have a true data feedback loop, not just a pile of data. And crucially, they are disciplined. They manage their compute costs like crazy, and they make sure their pricing actually reflects their economic reality.
If you only take one thing away from this entire explainer, please let it be this. AI has made it cheaper and faster to build a product, for sure, but it has not made it any cheaper to compete. In fact, it's made competition way more intense. AI amplifies leverage, yeah, but it also amplifies fragility. The winners will be the ones who truly understand that difference.
So, here it is. The final, crucial shift in mindset. For anyone building an AI today, the question is no longer, can we build this? I mean, with the technology today, the answer is almost always yes. The only question that matters for survival now is, can we defend this? Because in a world this crowded and this fast-moving, a structural advantage is the only thing that's going to last.